So this is what experimental studies do. They involve an intervention or a manipulation that tries to change X in order to influence Y. And then if you can kind of make Y change by changing X, you've shown cause and effect. This kind of evidence, when you're not manipulating X, is just relying on sort of the assumption that X may be causing Y. One thing that you can see though right away is that sometimes manipulating something like government performance is not easy. But it's important to realize that in modern experiments, intervention alone is not enough. So the basic setup is you have a condition, you intervene, and then you observe the change in the condition. In any kind of before-after comparison, you don't know what would have happened. Conditions change, things improve. Sometimes if you just leave something alone, it'll change anyway, right? There's a condition, there's an intervention to change the condition changes, but you also have to know what would have happened had the intervention not occurred. And that's referred to as the counterfactual. But the problem is, how do you observe a counterfactual? So how would we observe Obama had he not been president, right? The solution is the randomized comparative experiment, where you have a control group that represents the counterfactual. You apply an intervention and you observe an outcome, but then you have another group that resembles the treatment group that you also observe, but you don't apply the treatment. And the control group mimics what would have happened to the treatment group had it not gotten the treatment. And then that control group is formed by random assignment, which guarantees statistical equivalence on both observed and unobserved variables. Many of the limitations of observational studies have to do with the fact that there could be important variables that you can't observe or you can't measure. Experiments can kind of be used to check on and try to replicate or test results that come from more survey-based analysis. A study I published on the change in job satisfaction in the public sector after the 9/11 terrorist attack. My hypothesis was this, basically, that the 9/11 terrorist attacks, this is the presidential approval rating before and after the terrorist attack. After the attacks, the approval rating shot up. This kind of outpouring of positive feelings about government might influence the way government workers felt about their work, and also that the 9/11 attacks might have changed the meaning of public service. Workers would actually be more satisfied with their job after the 9/11 attacks than before, relative to the private sector. So I use the private sector as like a control group. So this is the mean job satisfaction, and you can see for the public sector, it shot up after 9/11. So in the private sector, it declined. There was a recession after the terrorist attack. So it's not by any means a randomized experiment, but you can see it still has the same kind of logic, because there was an event, an exogenous event, presumably may have affected one group more than the other, and it bears it out. Experiments can contribute a lot, I think, to the theory and testing and theory testing and development, especially demonstrating cause and effect relationships. They have limitations, they're often artificial, they focus on things that can be manipulated. Not everything in the world can be manipulated. And there are ethical constraints. Observational studies remain important. Qualitative studies remain important. A mixed methods approach, I think, is often needed. I don't think the field should be entirely experimental any more than it should be entirely regression analysis, or it should be entirely qualitative or historical analysis.